Thank you. Sam, next time we do one of these, I'm going to go first. No, first of all, I do want to say thank you, Sam, for inviting me to be here tonight on this very important event, obviously a milestone event, your book launch. And Sam and I, we've actually talked about doing an event together for quite a long time, so I was quite honored when you asked me to be here tonight. And excited to be here sharing this evening with all of you. So, a few weeks ago, my wife Chantal and I, we came back from, we were trekking in the kingdom of Bhutan, which is where this photo was taken. And during our time there, we visited one of the oldest monasteries in the country. And we happened to, at that point, run into the Queen Mother of Bhutan, Tserang Yangdon. And she greeted us very kindly, very graciously, very humbly. And then she shared a message with us which will probably stick with me for a long, long time. And that message was, no matter how young or old, no matter how rich or poor, no matter how weak or strong, everybody needs help. Everybody needs help. And because everybody needs help, we all must also help. Because help, it spreads, it catches on, it's infectious, and it gives permission for others to continue to spread that help. Last year, we spent some time in northern British Columbia in the Tahltan Highlands. And for those of you who may be not as familiar with the geographical area of northern BC, just to give you a scope of the vastness of where we live, our home province, we basically took a plane from Vancouver to Terrace, BC, and then we ended up driving another 8 hours north. We took a float plane into the mountains and then hiked another 5 days in. It's huge. But some of the most magnificent landscapes I've ever seen in my life. And we were traveling with a Tahltan leader who is a very wise man, but also shared many stories with us while we were traveling together. And one of those stories was about Raven, which they call Tiskiacho. Tiskiacho is a very important contributor to the creation of the world in the Tahltan eyes. So much so that they, through their history and their stories, there was a particular rock formation near the Tahltan village that they've called Tiskiacho Tizilizi, which means it's basically the bathroom that Tiskiacho would have used way back when. And this story has been passed down from generation to generation to generation until it's now been immortalized in their own culture. And so what happened recently, though, is they were going through a road widening process, and as part of that road widening process, they had to blast some of the surrounding rock with dynamite, and one of the rocks was this particular rock, Tiskiacho Tizilizi, which they basically threw dynamite into and blew up. And after the dynamite went off, after the dust settled, what happened was another formation formed into this rock, and that was the head of a massive raven. And the point is that creation is ongoing. The world was not created perfect, nor do we live in a set framework, but through every action or non-action, we contribute, we influence this framework, we contribute to the creation and to shaping of our world. And so whether it's the Queen Mother of Bhutan or whether it's the stories of the Tahltan people, we cannot rely on systemic change happening on its own, nor can we rely on systemic change coming down from the top. Systemic change happens and is created through the incremental actions that each of us does on a day-to-day basis. And so I think it's important to keep that in mind, and one of the themes that has sort of organically grown throughout this evening is a question that you can ask yourself, which is, how am I contributing to the creation of our world? So 2 years ago, my wife Chantal and I, we led an expedition deep into the Himalaya of Nepal. And the goal was to get to this little village, relatively unknown village. The valley had been closed for forever and was recently opened up to outsiders. It was called the Bayul Valley, which is a sacred valley. And so it was kind of hidden from the rest of the world. And so when it was opened up, we had an opportunity to go in there, and we understood from a local source that that valley was actually undergoing a lot of change as a result of being opened up. It was undergoing environmental change, it was undergoing social change, undergoing cultural change. So what we decided to do was to have an experience, and to go in there, but we also wanted to capture that experience. And we wanted to capture that journey through different lenses. So we invited different medium of being able to capture that journey, a photographer, Eric, who you saw his photography earlier tonight, and Michael Averill, a musician, and Jason Cameron, who is a nature artist. And the film that you're about to watch is a culmination of the journey through our eyes, but also a culmination of the artistic works kind of put together. And so with that, I hope you enjoy the film. Thank you very much.